Does masturbation affect testosterone? This is such a common question I get absolutely all the time. Do I have to stop doing this? Is it hurting my testosterone? And the truth is, it is not a straightforward question, so I wanted to actually simplify the physiology behind it and the practical advice of whether no-fap or semen retention actually benefits testosterone, or if masturbation affects testosterone at all. It's a very simple video. I'm going to help you understand the physiology, when it becomes a problem, and the practical takeaway as well. So the question is, does no-fap have an effect on testosterone? And the inverse, does masturbation actually lower or affect testosterone in any meaningful way? And the truth is, it does all depend on the context. It's not just a black and white question of yes or no, but I am going to give the answer of it certainly can. And this is because when you ejaculate, when you masturbate, there's a few things that happen physiologically. So your dopamine goes up and then it crashes, and your prolactin also elevates as well. This is acute and it's not chronic. And acute versus chronic: acute is just a short spike, then it returns to baseline. Chronic is when it is constantly elevated. And this is where we can experience a problem, because when prolactin goes up, this is what makes us sort of lose our drive and that edge that we have as a man, because prolactin is somewhat a shutdown hormone where it can make you feel very flat and unmotivated, because prolactin is anti-dopamine, and dopamine is what drives our motivation and pursuit and our libido. And this is what can take away your edge as a man when you're frequently ejaculating, and that is a real benefit of short-term no-fap, is that you can experience higher drive and higher motivation, because typically you're going to have a higher baseline dopamine tone. And the problem can show up when this is frequent and constant, because, like I say, when you ejaculate, prolactin comes up, dopamine spikes and then drops below baseline. So when you are doing this often, let's say daily or multiple times a day, this is going to cause a problem where prolactin is elevated more than it needs to be, and this is going to suppress testosterone, because chronically elevated prolactin suppresses gonadotropin releasing hormones sent from the hypothalamus, and testosterone production is controlled by the HPG axis, and chronically elevated prolactin blunts testosterone production at the brain level. And when we've got a lower baseline dopamine tone as well, we're going to be less driven, less motivated, and even subconsciously we're going to be putting less effort into our life, and we're going to be much more likely to seek comfort rather than doing the hard things. And this is going to have an indirect effect on testosterone, because you're not going to be motivated and driven to stick to your bad habit. When you pair this with pornography, when you masturbate and ejaculate, this causes an even bigger prolactin spike and an even bigger dopamine spike. So you get the worst effects of higher prolactin and an even lower baseline dopamine tone. Not to mention that pornography completely warps your perception of real life and real life women, and it can turn you into a bit of a weirdo. But luckily, you can resolve that problem once you've cut it out, once you've set up blockers. Even call your internet provider, tell them to block adult websites on your internet. Do whatever you can. Don't just try and use willpower, because that never ever works. You have to build systems, you have to set up blockers. So that is how it can affect testosterone. It can affect it by chronically elevating your prolactin and giving you a lower baseline dopamine tone. And this comes when it's daily or multiple times a day, also paired with pornography. But then also, I do not believe that no-fap is something that you should do. It is not natural. I've seen certain guys go a year or 2 years or 3 years doing no-fap. That is just so wrong and not healthy at all. I do not believe that you should be suppressing your sexual output, and you sort of lose the focus and drive benefits, in my opinion, after about 3 or 4 weeks. And that is why guys have wet dreams. If you've got healthy androgens and you do no-fap, there is no way your body is not going to regulate itself. If you've managed to go years without doing no-fap, if anything, that shows me you do not have healthy androgens. So this is not what you should be doing, but then it's also not a case of it's completely fine, do whatever you want. The answer is definitely sat in the middle, where you don't want to be on either end of both extremes. So the practical takeaway is, if you are doing this daily or multiple times a day, and you've also paired it with pornography, then this is going to affect your testosterone, no doubt about it. And it's going to affect you psychologically if you're using pornography. If you're doing it a couple of times a week, or once a week, or maybe even doing it once every 2 weeks or once every 3 weeks, then this is going to have a negligible, if not zero, impact on your natural testosterone levels. I would not do this for your testosterone. The things that control testosterone significantly more are going to be your sleep, your stress levels, your diet, your energy availability, and your micronutrient profile. And any studies you see about you get a testosterone spike when you do no-fap or whatever, spikes are not relevant to baseline increases in testosterone, and that is exactly what we want to do. We want to increase our baseline testosterone levels. So if you want to learn more about that, then I highly recommend that you watch this video here, which is my complete guide and system for how I naturally increase my testosterone levels and how you can do exactly the same. But apart from that, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found some value from it, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.